And Chris Deacy, who you may recognise from the Kent Film Club, but also is Honorary Reader of Theology and Religious Studies, joins me in the studio now. This is obviously a really significant event, Chris, but could having a female Archbishop actually divide the faith rather than unite it?
Yeah, I think that's one of the fears. I mean, on the one hand, it's breaking the glass ceiling. And when you think of the many institutions like the American presidency where that hasn't happened, this is a really big deal. And I think that's a moment to savour. But you are right, there are those in the church. And Rowan Williams, the former Archbishop, was talking about this yesterday, well, in an article he gave over the course of the last week. And he didn't attend the ceremony yesterday, saying he didn't want to be like Marley's ghost, precisely because there is that risk that the church could split. And I think there is a sense, he says, well, if God doesn't want it to split, it won't. But I think there are many people in the church who came even close to perhaps even setting up a rival archbishop to Sarah Mullally, who was installed yesterday. So, I mean, this is a seismic moment. But you know, I remember 1992 when we had the vote on whether there should be women priests. So that was, what, 34 years ago this year. So it's come a long way. But yes, there are those in the church who will never reconcile with what in its 1,400-year-old history, the 106th Archbishop, the first woman to hold that role.
And what kind of scrutiny will she face? What are the issues with people who may think that this isn't right?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, one of the things is that, I mean, in terms of same-sex marriage, also, I think abuse in the church as well is a really thorny issue, and questions around, well, of course, it related to her predecessor, Justin Welby, and the reason he resigned, and various questions about whether even she did the right thing when she was Bishop of London. So, I mean, effectively, she's inheriting, I'm not going to say poison chalice, that's a pun that I didn't intend, but she is inheriting a role which comes with a lot of expectations.
Mm-hmm. And do you think the community has trust in her to handle some of the issues, like you say, better than people in the past? Well,
do you know what I think here? I think it's like whenever you have a new Prime Minister, they always have a grace period, again, a pun, which is very fitting for the church, but they have a honeymoon period. And I think, you know, even that pilgrimage walk that she did over the course of the last few days from London, and then it went through even Chatham, not far from where we are here, into Chartham as well, and into Canterbury on a Sunday. I think there's a sense in which she's following tradition, but going way back to Thomas Becket. In other words, she's done what other archbishops haven't done. I think a lot of people will give her, I say, the benefit of the doubt, but effectively it's not down to one person. It's the institution which has never agreed on a set of principles. The film Conclave that came out last year in the case of the Catholic Church brought that into stark relief. So, well, we'll see what happens. But I think yesterday there was a sense that a lot of goodwill is coming her way, as we saw in the report just there.
Mm-hmm. Well, lots of people, even those who aren't religious, did watch that yesterday. It's obviously a very momentous occasion and a very, very nice outfit, I've got to say.
Absolutely. And I think it looks wonderfully colourful. And I think it brought a lot of attention for people, as you say, who are not necessarily of faith, but who see this as an important moment in terms of whether it's, I mean, we'll talk about inclusivity. We'll see whether the church can rally behind her on this and people in the community at large.
Thank you so much, Chris.